someone who has fled his or her country owing to also a well-founded fear of persecution because of his or her race and religion, nationality, membership in particular, also social group or political opinion. And according to United Nations, that is one thing we did see in 1951, a refugee convention also being described in there. Many refugees are living in exile in Uganda today, and also we are still saying that we also are looking forward to also work with the refugees, because some of the negative impacts of the refugees on our land has already been clearly seen. And if you ago, we have seen also that the land, the forest cover, has been also affected by the number of refugees that have come in there, because these people also settled on areas that used to be forests and also the green pastures. But we are saying we need to work together, and this is where we have seen efforts also by different stakeholders. A few months ago, I was in Terego, where one of the non-governmental organizations also embarked on the restoration of the ecosystem along also the wetlands of Yelulu and other areas. This is also to make sure that that area along the belt of that wetland is actually restored, because many issues had been arising from that. And maybe somebody also could be understanding and confusing a refugee to an asylum seeker, and asylum seekers also say they are refugees and have fled their countries, but really should they also be recognized as refugees? Definitely I say no. And we also need to have other categories who have fled their countries, and these also among others include the internally displaced persons, and we have the stainless persons and the returnees, and these are all also people who have fled their countries for one reason or the other. But how should we treat the refugees is the question somebody out there may want to understand, because we are saying the refugees are today, and we have seen them in different parts, much as we are only recognizing 4 districts in West Nile as refugee hosting, but the impact of these refugees cut across. And that's why we're saying we are living with the refugees today, because if you move to Kampala, we are seeing these urban refugees. And if you come to ARUA city as well, we are also seeing urban refugees, and the numbers actually say to be high. And recently we did see VNG International coming out to also make sure that they also identify the number of these people who are living as refugees in the urban centers. And I must say the number is very high, and this is one thing also we also need to understand, because these are all refugees, and we want to wish them a happy International World Refugee Day as we celebrate this day in peace with them. And we need to also make sure that we pray for peace to reign back in their country, so that they also go back, because this is where we have often seen them also making that call to government and also their governments way back home to make sure that at least peace returns. And when peace returns, they feel that they need to go back, because recently I did see the Junibin Festival, which was last year, where this message actually came out from the refugees that they want to go back home, and they appeal to the leaders to also make sure that peace reigns. And that is one thing also where we need to say, and we must cherish the peace for those who are living in this country. For now, in Uganda, we are about at 6 years without any war, and that is where we need to also praise the NRM government for. But much as they still have their gaps in terms of also the economy, where we are saying much as this is also not something that maybe force us to leave the country, but we may also be forced to leave the country if at all that is not addressed. And that is where we're saying the gaps must be addressed, so that solely we have a world and a country that we shall be able to all cherish. And that is where we are leaving that discussion aside. Yesterday we did see a Democratic Party launching its mass registration exercise in West Nile sub-region, and this did take place yesterday at Heritage Park in Arua City, where we did see leaders of the Democratic Party right from the top organ up to the region also making sure that they launch the mass registration exercise. This is actually to enable them establish the number of people who are also legally affiliated to the party. And this is where they say they want to differentiate the moral boosters from the real also spectators in there. And this is one thing we did see yesterday happening in Arua City, where we did see leadership from the top organ, where the Secretary General, that is Siranda, was around. And this is actually what exactly they said as we continue with the show. Well, as we wait for that video, we are going to be continuing, but this is something we did see happening yesterday in relation to what we are discussing, because if at all the parties also do not identify the exact number of people, and then definitely it's going to be very, very much difficult for them actually to differentiate the right voters from whom also I want to say maybe the perpetrators, maybe the spectators, because at the end of the day, if at all they are not establishing exact number of people, and then when the election time comes, it becomes very much difficult for them to actually differentiate the right voters also really from those who are just also really playing their games. And that's why we're saying for those who are also affiliated to these parties, because you have a freedom of association in Uganda, the laws are very clear. You choose to be under any political organization that you feel like, because if today I say I want to be NRM, it's my own mandate. If I say I want to be red, it is my own mandate. And if I say I want to go green, it is still my mandate. And this is why we're saying you have the freedom of relation. For those who have fled the party, you need to embrace that, so that solely when the right time comes, definitely you cannot be to be pushed out. And that's why one thing also really we need to make sure that we talk about, because at the end of the day, that is one thing also really that is going to very, very much have its own impact. And we are saying for those who are affiliated to the Democratic Party, we must make sure that we embrace the forthcoming mass registration exercise, which was already launched yesterday. And we are now looking for the exact exercise to commence, because the books are already with the registrars, and this is one thing also we need to also really support in there. For now, let's first get the information from the leaders in relation to what they are exactly saying.
Today, we have started the registration process of members of the Democratic Party. In a club, there are supporters, there are fans, and there are owners of such an institution. So today, we have come to establish the real owners, the members of the Democratic Party, by subscribing formally with the district chairpersons have registration books in which you apply. If we approve your application, then thereafter we give you a party card. That one now entitles you to be identified as a genuine party member. This is the process we have started. This process here will lead us into a national delegates conference, where at least every city or district will have to send delegates. And for this year, we're going to have, for the first time, the delegates conference in northern Uganda. I pray that ARUA hosts the one after western Uganda, because I've never had one since 1954. So that is the process we're embarking on. We have lasted since 1954 because we look at your faith in the party than at the number of people, because quantity does not necessarily show your strength. NRM registers everybody regardless of the party or person's affiliation. It is the reason why they register 17 to 18 million people during the registration process, but when it comes to voting, the number drops drastically, which means those people they registered did not believe in the NRM doctrine and philosophy. So we want, as the Democratic Party, to avoid that. We want the two people to register in this process.
Political party runs when we have a basis of the membership. Now, I want to stand here in West Nile. This is a process we have done everywhere in Uganda. And when you look at my book, the Honorable Robert Mao also registered in this booklet, because all of us, we are a leadership member-based party that is based in the district where we come from. I want to take this opportunity today to appreciate you, the NEC members from the national level, for accepting to come home. And today, we will be also officially launching this process here by a representative from national, because we are a party whose membership is based at the districts. We are not based at national level. When we went to our region, in my village, I registered for Paris. Today, the Honorable Jackie, the Honorable Alicia Elia, the Honorable Ramirega, and the Honorable Kumura here will be registered, and all our parliamentary candidates, because we want you to have a party based at home. We are doing this process basically because we want to separate the supporters from the real party members. We want to support the well-wishers, the supporters from the real members.
All right, I wouldn't wish to make any additions or subtractions to what exactly they said, and that is the Deputy Secretary General Siranda, together with the Northern Uganda Regional Coordinator Lemiriga Fadil, who actually have explained what exactly this exercise is going to be entailing and what exactly it means. I hope you, as the viewer now who is affiliated to the party, definitely knows what to do, and that is where we are leaving that discussion at. And now let's look at a story happening nationally, where a man has been jailed for 12 years for cutting off the wife's right hand. This is really, really wrong, and this is one thing also we must condemn in the strongest terms, because really, why must you make one person also really suffer for different reasons in there? But we are saying the Kayunga Chief Magistrate Court has sentenced a 35-year-old man to 12 years in imprisonment for cutting his wife's right hand. And Mr. Fred Ngobi, a resident that is of Misanga C village in Bale sub-county, Kayunga district, was on June 18th handed the sentence by Miss Joy Nambozo after he pleaded guilty, that is to the offense of attempted murder of the wife in there, that's identified as Miss Fatuma Babire, a 25-year-old lady in there. But really, why must you do such an inhuman act? This is where we're also really saying, where is the society heading to, and what exactly is happening? Because if at all people also really engage in such activities, then it is really a scary experience, something also really we must also really condemn in that. According to But's prosecution, Ngobi developed a misunderstanding with his wife, with whom they have one child, and she left their marital home and did not return in there. However, Ngobi was informed by a resident that his wife had slept at another man's home, and upon returning home the following day, Ngobi asked his wife also really where she had slept in the presence of the area LCs, but her answer did not satisfy him, and that is where exactly maybe he got the anger and picked the knife to also really cut off the. Really, this is wrong, and this is one thing also we must condemn. And he entered the house and came out with a panga, which was a bit sharp, and used it for cutting the wife's right hand in that. After the incident, Ngobi went into hiding, but was also really looked for and arrested in there. But Babila is still admitted at Jinja Referral Hospital, where she is receiving treatment. And this is where we're saying, if at all we have misunderstandings, we must develop the right channels over the, first of all, restoring the peace. And this is one thing also we are saying, if at all I have problems with my wife, how should I also really maybe handle the matter? Because if at all I'm going to be handling the matter in a way that is not well, and then it is the children, because you are harming also this child, this woman with whom you have a child, and who exactly is going to be helping this child? This is one thing also we need to mind of before our actions, because sometimes we take actions that are rational because also really we feel we need to do so. But really, at the end of the day, it is also really the same us that also really get to first of all blame ourselves, and that's why we're saying, if at all we have issues, we need to make sure that they are addressed in the right way. And this is one thing also really at the end of the day that may make us also really reach out, first of all, where we want to go to, and this is prison. And if at all we are not also really doing the right thing, and then the University of Understanding, or what we call the prison, is where we are going to be also really landing into, just like this gentleman who has now been sentenced that is 12 years after really also doing that inhuman act. But we are saying people must desist from tendencies of taking the laws into their hands. If I have a small misunderstanding with you, I have the right to report to police, and that is where we have the Child and Family Protection Unit today, which is there to also address such issues of domestic violence. And that's why we're saying, if at all we have issues, we shouldn't also sit back on this issue. We need to open up to our family members, our friends, and also the other relevant authorities, for instance, police and the politicians, so that also they get to help us. One thing also really, which brings us to the end of the first half of the first hour. This is still a KOKOLIRIKO live show, and we are going to be joined also really by a police officer. This is from the Department of Traffic, and we want to understand what exactly is happening, because today we are realizing an increase in the number of accidents being reported, and we want to also really understand how best we can be able to already reduce on the cases of the rising accident cases, which are already in the country being registered. And of yesterday, we did also already register the same, where also some people died. And this is one thing also already that is also already making us feel very bad. Is it our roads? Is it our negligence? Definitely, he will be here to also already explain that to us. For now, let's first have the short commercial breather that will be able to answer us into the discussion. Stay tuned to West Nile TV. My name remains Farish Majid.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Mbappe, Cristiano Ronaldo, Harry Kane, Sané, Griezmann, Lewandowski, and many more. Mbappe! Who is your European star? We are very familiar with all German stadia. Trust us to give you the best Euro experience affordably. Catch the matches live on NBA Sport, channel 255 on antenna or channel 199 on Dish Decoder on Star Times. We got your stars. This message is brought to you by StarTimes Solar. StarTimes Solar, more than just solar. Mbappe, Cristiano Ronaldo, Harry Kane, Sané, Griezmann, Lewandowski, and many more. Mbappe! Who is your European star? We are very familiar with all German stadia. Trust us to give you the best Euro experience affordably. Catch the matches live on NBA Sport, channel 255 on antenna or channel 199 on Dish Decoder on Star Times. We got your stars. This message is brought to you by StarTimes Solar. StarTimes Solar, more than just solar.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, good morning to you, the viewer of KOKOLIRIKO live show. You're most welcome to the KOKOLIRIKO live show on West Nile TV with me, Farish Majid, and I've been joined by Assistant Superintendent of Police, SSEKAJJA Abdul Latif, the OC Traffic, ARUA City, and we are going to be talking issues related to traffic and what exactly, as people do not know about traffic, because when people look at the traffic police officers, many of the times they tend to run away from them, yet in reality we are supposed to work with them, and that is something also I really believe could be also fueling the rising cases of accidents, because we have seen a number of accident cases being registered. But nonetheless, I want to start the discussion right also by inviting him on board to introduce himself to you, the viewer. You're most welcome.
Thank you so much, the viewers and the management of West Nile TV. And by names of SSEKAJJA Abdul Latif, OC Traffic, ARUA City. I'm very happy to be here this morning to have a word with the public. Thank you so much. Okay,
to start off the discussion right away, what do the public understand about traffic and what you feel they need to know, and why is it that also we are witnessing the cases of accident on the rise currently, not only within Western sub-region but the entire country?
Well, thank you so much. I've just come now 2 months ago here in ARUA, but I've observed many things. When you look at, let me start with my brothers of border borders. When you look at them, for them, what they normally do is just wake up in the morning and have motorbikes, and then they begin riding. When you look at the way they ride around the city, it is not good, seriously. Because somebody, you look at him riding a motorbike without even a side mirror. He doesn't know the use of a side mirror. You find somebody is having a motorbike full of papers and boxes. You find somebody is loading dangerous to the extent that he cannot even use the side mirror to look what is on the sides and even behind. So to my understanding that they need to be sensitized and educated. And that is the work I've started doing so that they can be able to be on the same page with the other people. Okay. When you go to the side of the vehicles, more so these brothers of who are doing the taxis, you find they load, and they don't know that when you have very many people, like let me say in front as you are driving, you are interfering with the safe driving, so which can easily cause an accident in terms of driving. So to me, my humble appeal that I've come to have this task fully accomplished. The times I will be in the Western Nile to educate the public so that we can avoid some of accidents which normally happens due to those errors that they normally do.
So what is it that these people of Western Nile sub-region are not understanding? I believe where you're from it could be different. What is that unique thing apart from the side mirrors then overloading? And what should they do to actually make sure that we do not have more accidents? Because recently we did see this happening along the Kampala highway. This is actually where this accident was attributed to, because they said the people who were on that motorcycle had tried overtaking in a wrong way. Could that be also what is fueling the accident cases in the region? And apart from that, what don't they understand exactly, in your own view and in your own observation as one of the responsible officers in terms of traffic on the way?
Well, thank you so much. When you look at, let me give an example in our city. We have roundabouts, we have humps, we have zebra crossings, but many of them, they are not using them. You find somebody reaching at the zebra crossing and is driving at terrific speed, yet somebody is crossing. They end up colliding with the pedestrians. The same to the vehicles. I want to appeal to the general public, more so in ARUA, Western Nile, that when you reach at a point where there is humps, it means you must reduce speed. But you find very many of them, they don't observe that. Two, when you look at the way they rode, like you find somebody is having 4 people, 5 on a motorbike. They don't know that when you carry more than 1 person on a motorbike is an offense. So once you are got, you are supposed to be what? To be charged and detained. There is these brothers of mine who normally use, is it, you call them laxas? The laxas. Yes, they use them to overload more so these luggages, what you find that the thing is very heavy, more than the front side, so they end up causing accidents. And many of the accidents that I've got, it is by reckless driving, overloading, and the likely would of coming in of accidents more so in town, it is because of these roundabouts.
Sorry to cut you short. One observation about the RACSA that you talked about is, first of all, in my own observation as a citizen, you realize that this is being operated by mostly the young people. You realize that it is the children who are operating the RACSAs. And then secondly, I don't even think most of them have the permits. As the Department of Traffic, what are you doing to make sure that also really you address that matter? Because the way these people ride the RACSA really sometimes is alarming, because in areas where there's congestion, you see them overspeeding. And what exactly should traffic do, and how exactly should the public help you in terms of making sure that this vice does not go on? Because we have had cases where these RACSAs knock the people due to overspeeding, because sometimes they are being operated by young children and who do not exactly know what they are supposed to be doing on the road. And what exactly maybe do you have as a message to the people who are behind the owners, maybe who could be the owners of these RACSAs or those who are operating them?
Thank you so much. When I came to Western Isle, I realized that, and I'm able and I'm planning to partner with the Ministry of Works. I'm happy that I got a branch this side, and now we are embarking on the sensitization program to discuss issues pertaining on the permits, to talk to the general public, having meetings with their leaders so that we can have them on board, begin processing one by one and the classes they are supposed to have. Many of them normally wake up and begin riding. And we need to tell them the dangers when somebody gets an accident without a driving license. And that is my work and my team. And I'm ready to partner with the team from Ministry of Works and we educate these people. Because I needed to tell them that whatever offense committed, whatever accident committed, when it comes to our notice that you have no permit, the RACSA is in dangerous mechanical condition, you are supposed to be prosecuted and taken and being punished. So it is my work to talk to them. Yes, and I've already started visiting radios, TVs, the way I am here, and even community engagement physically, so that we can see that we curb down those issues. Because we have seen very many people getting injured, losing life in those unserious circumstances.
Okay.
Yes.
Then looking at what exactly is happening, we are witnessing a trend of an increase in cases of accidents being reported. I don't know what that means to you as the traffic and where the gap could be, and what exactly the public needs to understand in relation to that. Because each and every day at least we are talking about people's lives being lost in an accident.
Well, thank you so much. When you talk of the rise of the accidents here in Western Isle, it is a combination of very many factors. One, I've seen with my physical eyes where riders and drivers moving at a very terrific speed, which
let's continue with the discussions, and I believe there's much more that we also need to understand towards that, because the accidents mean a lot, and that is one thing also really we need to understand as the people of this region. Because if you talk about the cases of accidents being registered today, you realize that vehicles are overturning. We hear cases of people being able to ram into others, and we have stationary cars that are all being parked on the road, and where we get to see people knocking each other. What does that mean exactly, and what should the public do? Because we have had several campaigns, for instance the TEDECO and with Vivo Energy, where we have seen partners coming up to also make sure that the public understand what exactly is happening and how they should also reduce on the number of maybe accident cases that continue to take place in the country. But today that is not happening. And if you see alone from last year's crime report reported, definitely if you look at the police crime report for last year, which was released this year, you will realize there was an increase in the number of accidents, and I believe the same could also really be happening at the end of this year, because we are at least talking about accidents being reported each and every day, not only West Sub-Region, but across the entire country. I don't know what that means, and how, as traffic, you are going to be also helping the public in relation to addressing that concern.
Well, thank you so much. As I've told you that having an increase in accidents it is a combination of very many factors. A case in point, our city, that is ARUA. When you look at the accident that normally happens, one, it is drink driving. You normally find somebody, a driver, a rider of a motorcycle, riding while under the influence of alcohol and other intoxicating drugs. So I call upon members to avoid those things which can make somebody to lose at least the elect sense when is he driving. Two, when you look at the nature of accidents normally happens here, it is due to overspeeding, as I've said. And when I came to do a bit of research, they told me that sometimes speed is caused by these the so-called, I use the word dealers, who are dealing in those goods which are not authorized.
The smugglers.
And sometimes, smugglers, that sometimes they are fearing URA to be arresting them. And that is why they normally move at a very terrific speed. They end up losing their lives. They end up knocking and injuring pedestrians and others. When you look at other accidents we normally have, these are the accidents where you find a vehicle is fully loaded with a team of people on top. Like a fuso, you find is carrying over 70 people. So, and the way they sit automatically is dangerous. Sometimes they overturn, and you find very many people are losing their lives.
You know, talking
injuries.
about the kind of mode of transport that we use in Western sub-region, unlike other regions, we do not have taxis. And our mode of transport, for instance, if I want to travel to Mariokolo, maybe to Terego, definitely I will be required to use the fusos, because the roads maybe cannot be able to solely allow the small vehicles, the SUVs also to operate in there. But really, how exactly and what exactly should we, the members of the public, do in terms of solely addressing the number of these rising cases of the accidents? Could it be the roads? What exactly is happening? Because as traffic, you talked about a number of factors, but I really believe much as we also have those gaps that you mentioned, there are still other factors that you really, I feel that you must have left out. And what is exactly the role of the public in terms of sort of making sure that the number of accidents do not go on? And as a passenger, what is my role in this vehicle that I'm going to be sitting in to make sure that I reach safely to my final destination?
Well, let me begin with the last one. As I can tell you that the load itself cannot be a problem, because it is not every vehicle is falling every day. So you find in a month there are 2 vehicles or 3 vehicles, which means the others are passing. So you must find ways how also to pass there. The road sometimes cannot be a problem for accident, because not every vehicle that falls there. But now, when it comes to our driving, that is the problem. Two, our vehicles, sometimes our vehicles are in dangerous mechanical conditions. That's what sometimes you find we have got an accident and then the cause is brake failure.
Okay.
Yeah, so it means it is the responsibility of the driver and the owner of the vehicle. Two, as we said in our city here, you find, as I said, we have roundabouts, but many of us, we don't use it. That is why somebody comes, by the time he's entering, another one is crossing, they end up colliding. So that is why I'm telling the general public that before you reach the roundabout, reduce speed. Make sure that you observe left, right. And many don't use that. Okay. When you look at the zebra crossing, as I said, they don't observe that, they just pass, they end up knocking. And for us,
where is that gap coming from? Could it be from the qualification of the drivers? Are they not fit to be on this road? But as traffic, what have you done to make sure that each and every person who is on this road as a driver is actually that one qualified person?
Well, as I said, there are like 4 factors. One, somebody must be educated when he's acquiring a driving license. Be taught on how to use the road. Two, the public must be sensitized, as we are doing now. That before you reach at the zebra crossing, as you are stepping on the side of it, look left, right, and cross. The same to the motorist. Before you reach, just make sure that nobody is crossing. Then you move. Before you reach at the roundabout, just look left, right, make sure that you cross. So it is our role as me, you, and the entire community to be educating each other. Two, I'm going to do what I may call enforcement, arresting those ones who pretends or who seem not to be knowing. Like if I get you without a driving license, I will be able to prosecute you. You make sure that you know what is entitled to have a driving license. Yes, because when you don't have it, it means you don't know if you are to have it or not. I'm going to be impounding vehicles which are in dangerous mechanical conditions, subject them to IOV, and then you are directed to organize them and be fit on the road. I'm going to do a lot in enforcement. I've realized that many motorcycles are on the road without number plates, no side mirrors. So I'm going to do a lot so that I can make them awake to follow what are the traffic rules and guidelines are supposed to be put in place.
Talking about enforcement, the issues of kitu kidogo has always been very much associated to this department of police, but really how ready and how have we oriented officers who are going to be on these roads so that sorry would not get drivers who are not going to also move into panyas, but who are going to confidently move on this road, well knowing that they are going to pay something small and which is going to allow them pass. As police, do we have any measure to also make sure that such officers who are promoting this bad activity are also apprehended?
No, well, the question is very good. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give the general public my contact. In case of anything, someone to raise me, just read me the number. You know, we have like when you see my name here, the officers also having first numbers and their names. For you, just tell me so and so on this number and this, I will be able to handle that because I'm not everywhere. Right now I'm here, they're in the field, I don't know what is happening now.
Surely.
So when you give me that feedback, I must cross-check and handle. And I promise to fight that. So that's why I'm going to give the general public my contact. Yes.
You know, talking about the issues as to why we are seeing so many people running away from traffic today to use the panya routes is the issue of permit. And I have a colleague who has just asked me here that why must the permits that are being issued to them expire? Because experience does not expire. I may be able to drive the car for 4 years, but my permit at the end of the day expires, and then I'm required to process a new one. Why is it that way?
Well, the reason why permits normally expire, it depends on the level of a class, and it is a regulation that was put. Because now, those days we had a permit stopping at 3 years, not so? Right now it has gone to 5 years. So it is upon our leaders who normally advocate for us the other side, they can say we have now put it open. Like even a national ID has a dates and the months and a year for expiration. So this is a regulation that was put by our members of parliament from the other side. So it is my humble appeal for them to tell our leaders also to advocate for us and be open if they seem to be viable. And yes,
that is it. That is it in relation to those drivers who had concerns about the permits, and that is why we're saying before you move on the roads, we must make sure that your life, first of all, is safe, and then the other road users. But many times we are seeing people not mind about the other road users, and that is one thing you also mentioned here. I don't know what the public needs to do, because we have tried to do sensitization about the same matter, but nothing seems to be changing. We have had cases where people have been knocked on the zebra crossings and they have lost their lives just because some errant drivers and riders were able to not to respect the traffic guidelines that are in place. And this is quite common in ARUA city, unlike in Kampala, because I've been at least in the different parts of the country. But the situation is really alarming when it comes to ARUA city, where most of our riders actually not have the qualifications. And you mentioned about also going to be putting out so many strategies to make sure that this matter is addressed. But I don't know how the public is ready and what are some of those punishments apart from being taken to prosecution, because you talked about those who do not have licenses. Maybe if you can briefly paint for us maybe the punishments for those who are riding without the permits, and then those who are driving the DMCs under the law. I don't know what are maybe some of the punishments for those who are going to be arrested during this operation, which we are looking forward to.
Well, thank you so much. I want to inform the general public that every offense committed on the road, you are supposed to be prosecuted and taken to courts of law. However, I may look at somehow some issues and I pardon you. This issue of receipt comes as a warning. When I get you loading dangerously, I give you a receipt costing to 200,000. When I get you driving recklessly, I give you a receipt of 100,000, and it is payable in 28 days. But sometimes if it is too dangerous, the speed and is likely to cost I can park you and I say you first go and pay. It is my honor to do that. But according to the law, it is saying 28 days. When I get you driving a vehicle in a dangerous mechanical condition, I give you a receipt of 60,000. Sometimes I park it and I tell you if the problem is the tire, you put it there, first go and bring tires and put it. Because we realize that when tires are bad, it can be able to make the vehicle cause an accident and injure people and kill people. So I park it there. If it is the brake, I park it there, I subject it for IOV, they inspect it and they deregister it. Deregistering means to remove the number plate. They send you back to go and do the mechanics and the organization, and then you bring it back for inspection, and then you go on the road. That one we are sure that now it is ready. Now when I get you with the very many people, these brothers of ours who are doing taxis, you find that according to the insurance is having 7 people, 5 people, and is having like a 3 in front, the driver.
Where they have to carry each other.
That is it. So that one I give you a receipt of 100,000 because you are interfering with the safe driving. Now, when I happen to get you without an insurance sticker, I give you a receipt of 40,000.
Okay.
Yes. So there are very many offenses we normally. When I get you without a crash element, I give you a receipt of 40,000.
Okay.
Yes. So that one I'm warning you. But the best option would be, and according to the law, I park you, you go and buy it and have it. Okay. But what we normally do, because we are also human beings, you may say, you know what, I don't have the money. I decide to give you a receipt, you go and look for it, you pay, and again you pay the insurance you are supposed to put on. Okay. So that is my humble appeal to the general public that let us be a law-abiding citizen so that we can enjoy our Uganda. Okay.
Yes. Recently, I was from ARUA district where we were as a team of journalists, and we got also really arrested for wrong overtaking. And really, I must say, this is where we are about to be issued a receipt, but we didn't also really get the receipt in there. But that is one thing also really we are looking forward because we need to understand what exactly is wrong overtaking. What is it exactly when we talk about wrong overtaking?
Well, thank you so much. I'm happy today asking very good questions which can help the public to understand. You may find that you are overtaking in an area where you are not supposed to overtake. And we normally have road marks on the road. Do you normally see these red line, yellow lines? Some are broken, others are what? So those are the kind of marks that help us to know that here there is overtake, here not. Where you say that long overtaking means you are overtaking in a place where we have a signage of children crossing. Okay. You are overtaking in a place where we have a signage where there is cattle crossing, which means you are not supposed to do what? You are overtaking in a place where we have a zebra crossing. Okay. You are overtaking in a place where we have the road humps. Okay. So which means there you are not supposed to, because the reason why they put those marks and signages, it means you are supposed to be on a slow motion to make sure that you value also the children who are passing, the pedestrians who are passing, and even other vehicles which are moving at a slow motion, more so the roaded ones. Yes, that is the reason why they were ticketing you. Okay. Yes.
So I don't know what the punishment under that law is and how much money exactly we're supposed to be paying and within the period, because one thing we also need to understand is the period of these punishments.
When we happen to be in terms of a receipt, that is, we term it as reckless driving. So I give you a receipt of 100,000. Okay. So when we happen to go to court, and if you plead guilty, you are not supposed to be detained below 6 months. You are supposed to go 6 months up to 2 years. Depends on the discretion of the magistrate. Okay. Yes.
And to avoid all these acts that may be able to make you face the wrath of the law, definitely we are saying the traffic guidelines must be respected. And who exactly is supposed to respect the traffic guidelines? It's me and you, both the road user and all the road users, both those on drive machines and those who are walking. And that is why we're saying the passenger walkways must be respected. And as passengers also, we must make sure that when we are crossing all these roads, we are careful, because at the end of the day, we are all road users, and that is where we are coming to a discussion, where we're coming to a halt on that discussion, and we are going to be continuing with it in our second hour. And I'm still with ASP SSEKAJJA, the OC Traffic ARUA City, and we are discussing issues related to traffic. My name remains Farish Majid. For now, let's have this short commercial break. We bounce back shortly.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Mbappe, Cristiano Ronaldo, Harry Kane, Sané, Griezmann, Lewandowski, and many more. Mbappe! Who is your European star? We are very familiar with all German stadia. Trust us to give you the best Euro experience affordably. Catch the matches live on NBS Sport, channel 255 on antenna or channel 199 on Dish Decoder on Star Times. We got your stars. This message is brought to you by Star Times Solar. Star Times Solar, more than just solar.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that short commercial break. We are back with the KOKOLIRIKO live show, and with us 4 minutes after 8 o'clock, and this is where we are discussing issues related to traffic today. And many times people do not know what exactly they're supposed to be doing on the roads and their roads, and that is one thing also really we are here for. And we want to tell you that just stay tuned. We are still doing that with you up to 9 o'clock, and at 9 o'clock, that is when the news bulletin in Lubarati will be coming through. But for now, we are still discussing issues related to traffic, and we want to make sure that those who are also already on the, using our roads do not also have their lives in danger, because so many times we have had our people lose their lives and also the others becoming disabled just because of accidents. And much as we are saying accidents have no formula, but we can still be able to avoid that, and that is why Afande SSEKAJJA is still here, and he is the OC Traffic ARUA City, and we are discussing that. He has mentioned a lot of issues in the first hour, but now we want to solely understand the challenges that they are going through, because in everything that we do there must be challenges. I want to understand, Afande, what are some of those challenges that you are encountering in your line of duty?
Well, thank you so much. There are a lot of challenges we normally face, but we are work we are working hand in hand with the general public, plus because it is a combination of very many issues. One, on the side of the public, we have realized that when an accident happens, they tend to be more harsh than the law. Sometimes you find an accident happens, you get borders chasing the vehicles, and then they start mobbing the drivers or the riders instead of helping them to be taken to the hospital for treatment. So you find they are fighting. When somebody causes an accident, the reason why accident happens, it is an abrupt and sudden occurrence. But why somebody can be fighting somebody because of the accident? You find they are mobbing. I understand even they are burning vehicles, motorcycles. So that is our challenge. Two, we have a challenge of our members in the community for late reporting of accidents. An accident happens and they don't report to police. They normally go the other side. They sit and discuss. After failing like 1 week or 2 weeks, they come to police. Sometimes they make even their agreements the other side. Where somebody fails to pay off fulfilling that agreement, you find themselves coming to police. And then when you come and I tell you it is overdue, they say police is bad, we don't want to help them. Because I cannot just enter a case which has lasted for 2 weeks. Yes, when you have no genuine reason. The reason why they normally gave us that we thought we would manage it. How can you begin performing a duty which is not supposed to be yours? Two, we are having a challenge of motor vehicles and motorcycles which normally cause accidents but no registration plates. When you tend to ask them, they normally tell you that for us we buy motorcycles in Congo, we have not yet gotten money to process the number plate with the URA. So you find it is very hard for us sometimes to allocate those motorcycles in terms of accident. Let me say hit and run accident. When a numberless motorbike knocks a pedestrian, you can never get it unless you are lucky. Okay. So those are the challenges. Two, when it comes to the city leaders, I'm intending to have a meeting with them and see how we are going to organize the city. Because when you are moving around the town, you see there is double parking. Double parking, it is not a good thing in town, and it is normally done by these people whom they put. I don't know whether they contracted them, who normally gets 2,000 per vehicle parking. So they are the ones making what? And you find the whole city is
You're not talking about wrong parking.
Yes.
Most of the streets in Arua City actually facing that challenge. If I can briefly give you an example of oil well, you see that area around Concord. Usually that place is very, very much congested by the small vehicles that are also really taking their routes to Koboko and in Yumbe. And I believe this is something also that needed to be addressed. I don't know as police what exactly you have done to make sure that issue has been addressed, because many of the times, this is not the very first time that we are talking about congestion in there. At least for the last 5 years, I've had different people talking about the same place, but nothing is being done. Where is the gap?
That is why I'm saying I'm going to discuss with the city leaders. Because now these guys who normally pay, who get contracts, they normally pay to the council. So we normally engage them. If they are to discontinue their contract, they discontinue and then we organize the city. Because somebody, when you chase the vehicle where he gets money and for him we paid there, you see that we are contradicting. Okay. So it is my role now to sit with the city leaders and we harmonize, as I've told you. Now, the other challenge, we don't have the issue of like humps when you are approaching the roundabouts. Yes. So I'm also trying to engage with the city leaders and see how we are organizing. That is why you find a motorist comes direct and joins the roundabout, end up colliding with another vehicle or another motorcycle. Yes. And two, last on that, I'm seeing that our roads are too narrow, the city. So I don't know, we are going to sit and I see which plans do they have, because when you look at our roads, they are too narrow in the city. So we need also to emphasize on that and see how the management can handle that. Yes.
You're not talking about humps, you talked about humps here, and one of the issues that has actually been attributed to the accident along Kampala-Pakwaks Highway, which is a highway, also really has been the reason of overspeeding, and many people have been advocating for humps on this road. Is it right for humps to be put on highways?
No. However, we are supposed to put humps where we see that we have sensitive activities like schools.
Because we have a school, we have a
like
market,
a hospital,
but
like a market, and even that survey is being done by UNRA officials. If the load belongs to UNRA, we write and they send officials and we do the assessment. Because not everywhere that we are supposed to put a road hump. Yes.
You know, many of times we have accidents that have been caused, first of all, by numberless vehicles or numberless motorcycles, where those perpetrators run away. Under such a situation, what maybe can traffic do to help the victims who have been left? Because if you move the hospitals out the casualty ward, you realize that also there are cases of people who are brought there and the accidents are said to be committed by people who have run away. And how, in this case, what should the people do, and what exactly has traffic police been doing to help the victims who are also already left unhelped like that?
Well, this one goes to the public. Sometimes when an accident happens, many people are there, but you find they are the ones helping the border sometimes to run away. And you find you have no way to get that. As I said, if the motorcycle or the vehicle is having a number plate, if somebody can copy the number plate, I can easily use our cameras and have it tracked. But if it doesn't have, we need those, the one we call the high witnesses, to help us grab instead of letting that man go, so that we can be able to help the victims.
Okay.
Yes.
So that is it in relation to that. And one thing I need to also understand is that is the public right for mob action? Because many of the times when we have seen accidents, because sometimes they say these accidents have been caused by errant drivers who are under the influence of alcohol and the influence of drugs, and when they get to realize that, they tend to also really want to also kill the people who are behind also the causing of this accident here. Because I may be able to give you an example that happened last year, where one of the foreign nationals was able to knock people along Reno Camp Road, and where we did lose also only one person. And the cause of the accident was actually said drink driving and overspeeding, which actually resulted in that accident. And when this accident happened, the communities wanted to lynch this suspect in there, but luckily enough, police was able to reach out in time and also really save the life of the Indian national in there. But really, is it right for mob action against the causes of these accidents?
Well, it is not right, because somebody with the authority, it is me, the judge, the magistrate, the chief magistrate, and others. And also, they don't have also rights to kill, they don't have rights to beat someone. What I call upon the general public, that once an accident happens, fight hard to save the victim, because sometimes even the rider, the driver is also a victim. So you find ways of helping them. If somebody is to be charged, it can be aligned, can be taken to police and be aligned to court, but not beating. It is not there. Yes, once you are caught and you are taken to police, you'll be charged for assaulting somebody.
Okay.
It's because an accident is an accident. I'm a candidate, you're a candidate, and everybody is a candidate. One time I saw on a TV where President Museveni was going to that side of Mukono side and knocked someone's goat. Yes. That means that an accident can happen at any time.
Yes.
Yes. How can you now? Was he supposed to be mobbed?
Not really.
That is it.
Okay.
So we are not entitled to do that. Even in me, there was traffic. I'm not supposed to slap somebody because of an accident. Okay. Whether you are drunk or whether you are what, I can just test you and charge you, but not to slap you or do anything. Yes.
And then to the victims, maybe those who have caused the accidents, because many of the times also really their lives are endangered. And in case I'm caught up in an accident, what should I do as a driver? Because an accident is an accident. It's a sudden unexpected happening.
Yes. In humanity, once an accident happens, I believe you stop and you get that victim, rush him or her to the nearby clinic for first aid as you coordinate with the police. You can even send somebody, bypasser, that help me go to police, tell them there is an accident here, as a responsible what? Citizen. But normally what they do was, he has helped you and picked the victim, taken to the hospital, he or she dumps them there and then they disappear. Which is bad. Because an accident can happen to anybody of us. Like me, I'm a candidate, my dad, my mom, my relative, my friend. So we need to be on the same page as we are handling these issues. And we need to be with the empathy. Because whatever can happen to me can happen to anybody. And how do you feel? Because myself, I can end up having it today or tomorrow or the other day. Now, suppose I mistreat you. And I don't want people to be there praying that I wish so and so is also like me, which is bad.
Okay.
Yeah, so we need to move on the same page, helping each other, guiding each other, giving information, and see how we are going to survive on this planet.
Okay. Talking about one of the ways where we could be able to avoid accidents on our road could be the use of traffic lights, and that is how in Kampala, along Kavule in Makerere, the government has embarked on installation of traffic lights, and that is where today we are going to be seeing some diversions, and also in areas of Kavule, we are going to be seeing diversions also as well, and that is also really allowed the installation of these traffic lights. But I don't know how, as ARUA City, if we are ready for the installation of traffic lights along most of the streets, because sometimes when I'm going back, you can really see some bit of traffic on these roads. They are more so along the hospital lane and also really reaching towards ARUA Hill. The numbers is usually high. What exactly, and does that also tell us as ARUA City that we are ready for traffic lights?
Well, I've just come. I've not traversed with the whole thingy, but as I'm saying, I have to get time and discuss with the state leaders, and I see how they are ready for it. If possible, they can be doing it because they have the physical planning unit, they have the engineering brigade. I don't know what they are planning, but I will need to engage them and see what they are planning. Because when they reach at the level of a city, it means they are planning very many things. So I need to first find out whether they have it in their program.
Okay.
Yes.
And that is it. And in relation to those who are driving without permits, I don't know what message you have for them, because sometimes people say possessing a permit is actually one difficult thing. And given the fact that most of our drivers here learn not from the schools, just because they are the garage, they have already learned how to drive, and they need the permits. What message do you have for such people, and how exactly can they be helped in terms of solely processing their permits in there? Because many of the drivers from this region actually learn through colleagues. I may learn through father, I may learn through a brother, I may learn through where I'm working from as an apprentice. But really, how can they be able to process the permits that they require for themselves?
Well, that is a good question. I encourage the general public to use police, to use the IOV, to use the Ministry of Works as they are processing their their driving license, because I'm going to be arresting them. So when I arrest them, I may change my mind not to give them receipts. I tell you, park there, you can process a permit and have it here. So the IOV will be able to test you. After testing, we will give you a recommendation to go to the Ministry of Works and then process. The first phase is to get the learners, which goes up to 3 months. And the issue is you are given that as you are learning. So, and when I get you on a motorcycle or in the vehicle driving with that without somebody teaching you, I will also arrest you. And when I get you there with it, with an instructor who doesn't have an instructor's license, I will also arrest him.
Okay.
So it is my humble appeal that let us not avoid to have a rapport with the police, because we are ready to guide them on how to do it. And our IOV is always there testing drivers, riders, and whatever. And I've gotten a chance that the Ministry of Works is near. Not like in Kampala that somebody will drive from here up to Kampala to go and look for the permit. So I request, let them use that, because once you get an accident and I ask you where is your driving license and you don't have it, I can easily take on you. Yes.
What about the rider's license? Because I do understand some of the border riders also are supposed to have a rider's license, which many do not have in this region.
As of now, our MPs have not yet advocated for us. We are still using one permit. Class A, Class B, C, DE, and whatever. However, recently, like 1 month ago, I had President Museveni had a team of borders in Chankwanz. He was promising them that he will engage the Ministry of Works to reduce them on the price, that one of the borders. But I believe they have not yet effected it, but it is there. However, as we are moving on, let us embrace this until that amnesty comes from the big man. Thank you.
That is it from the big man, and we need to make sure that those who are riding motorcycles without license already have at least some qualification that would also really be able to enable them freely move on these roads, because many of the times we have also really been able to see some people riding recklessly just because they don't know they are riding reckless, but they think they are doing the right thing. And those who have been sitting one-sided, this is really a traffic offense. And then those who have been over speeding, and this is quite common with the Senke riders in the Arua city, and how I wish our traffic police would have license for this sport. That would be quite well, and that would also really help reduce on the number of these accidents. And I really want to say that is one thing also that is causing accidents in this region. I don't know how, as police, we are working towards that, because we want to make sure that at least the number of accidents also really reduced. Because look at also really the previous weeks. We have been talking about an accident, or either border related or a car ramming into other. I don't know if what you can really say something about, if you can briefly say something about this accident, also really where we are seeing other vehicles ramming into others. I don't know what is causing that, because recently we did see it happening in Barara, and just the other month we also saw it happening. And over the years we have been seeing the same case of vehicles ramming into other. I don't know what you can say about that.
Well, that's why I told you that it is a combination of many factors. One, sometimes people are driving while on WhatsApp. Driving while on phone. Two, driving under the influence of alcohol. Having vehicles which are in a dangerous mechanical problem. You're asking somebody what happened. He says the vehicle failed to brake. And others are driving at a terrific speed. This issue of smuggling and whatever. So that's why you end up getting these serious accidents and even fatal accidents. Okay. I'm giving you an example. There's an accident that happened the other side of Kasanda, where a vehicle overturned and almost 10 and above people died. Yes, it was the recklessness of the driver. He knew that how can you road people on a tipper? Okay. So with their luggages and whatever. So that driver, if he did not die, he's supposed to be taken forever. Yes, for recklessness.
So I believe the public, also those who are behind this vehicle, had the duty or role they have.
That is it. What is their role? You are supposed to complain. You are supposed to complain that, no, we are doing ABCD, but it is not right. Police had a pass and they intervened before. That is our role. That is why I'm saying whatever I'm saying, I say it is a joint effort. You and me. Whatever you tell me, you may be moving and you say, Afande, there is a vehicle is driving at 120 from their side of Manibe facing where that is a high speed. He's likely to kill people. When I call my people or myself, I intercept it, it means I'm saving people. In that regard, you have saved many who would die in case of an accident this side. Yes, so it is a joint effort, me and you. We are able to save someone's life. Okay. Yes.
That means that all of us are stakeholders. I don't know if police would wish to have whistleblowers, because if we had whistleblowers, I believe this would actually work out for traffic also, because traffic is not going to be everywhere. And not also every police officer is a traffic officer.
That is why I'm saying I'm giving out my contact.
Maybe if you can briefly give it out.
It is 0779 417 again 417.
We shall be able to give that number again for those who have not gotten it towards the end of the discussion. We're just left with about 7 minutes to wind up with the discussion. But really, if you at all you have any question that you feel Afande SSEKAJJA needs to also address, feel free to keep it coming, and he will be able to respond to it later on. But for now, we are still discussing these issues because we want to see that the number of accidents that we are currently seeing happening on our roads already reduces. And Afande, could it be a fact of our roads already contributing to this? Because many of the times people have been complaining about the deplorable status of our roads, that people are saying that it's very bad. Could it also be contributing to the accidents? And what, in this case, is the role of government in terms of reducing the accidents on our roads as a factor being also attributed to that?
That's why when you look at the accident, because always we do assessment, an accident happens, when we are registering it, we ask the weather, the road itself, the vehicle, the condition of the driver, is he having the permits, what, is the vehicle was in the good mechanical condition, how was the road, if it is the pothole, and whatever. So that's where we get the reports and we forward it to the responsible people.
Okay.
So as I said, that we may find that two trailers have collided because of the narrow road. That one goes to the city leaders. That's why I told you that I'm going to meet them and we discuss. You may find they have a plan of widening them. When you look at the congestion in the town, that one we said we are going to also manage by discussing with them and see the plan they have.
You know, I find that talking about the congestion, really, I must say, I'm one person who is very, very much irritated by this.
Yes.
Many times you see these heavy vehicles, which I believe and I wish they would be able to solely travel during night. This would work for me because many times they are the ones actually which have been able to cause the accident. And you hear, from members of the public, I don't know what it means that the air of the car got done. This is what you always hear, and the vehicle failed to brake. You hear that the air at least got this, and that is how the vehicle was able to lose control in there. But really, I don't know if at all if we could be able to develop means so that really these vehicles that are heavy would have their own roads, or if at all they will travel at night. To me, this would work out. I don't know what you think about that as police.
That is what also I was telling you, that the management of the city has a lot to do. When you look at other countries like Tanzania, they have a time where the big lorries, the trailers park and then start moving. They have their loads where they pass when they are loaded. So if they have a plan, they can also be doing it. That's why I want to meet them and see what are they planning. Because now, when you look at the other side, that road is called what? Where we have the trailers that normally goes to the side of Congo. Yes, when they are loaded. So there are very many, and sometimes the road is very small and they park aside. So I call upon also those traders, when they are roading and off-roading, they should also be aside, not in the road. Once I get them, I impound with even the goods on it. Yes.
That is as a warning. I don't know what you have as a final word to those people who are not respecting the traffic guidelines that have been laid in place. What some of the punishments that you are going to be undertaking. And as being new in ARUA City, I know you have identified some weaknesses and you are going to be working towards also really making sure that the weaknesses are addressed.
Well, thank you so much, the management and the airtime you have given us today. I call up the general public to be able to move with us. I'm going to begin with my enforcement exercise and be with my team. Whoever is going to be affected, I don't want him or her to say, I didn't hear, I was not told. We are likely to handle them according to the law. And I'm going to be traversing the whole city, left, right, to make sure that we put some of the things in order. And to the side of the borders, I'm going to impound them. Seriously. Seriously. I'm not going to tell them the day, but I will wake up one morning, you'll find the whole stays on fire. So that we can put these things on order. More so and I'm told, by the way, that they normally remove these side mirrors willingly.
Yes, that is it, because they feel they can ride it without the side mirrors.
Some are having number plates but are kept at home. So those are the things I want. Before you bring them, I will not be releasing a motorcycle. The vehicle, if I impound the DMC, before it is inspected and being repaired, I will not be releasing it. Yes, and others I will be taking some to court to make sure that I tell the public by action that the law is there and somebody is supposed to be prosecuted and being remanded and put there for serving.
Okay, before impounding, those who may need your services, how can they reach out to you?
I've given them my number.
Maybe you're going to give it once again. And where exactly is your office? And so that also really those who may be in need of information can be able to move to your office and get this information maybe freely.
Yes. Well, my number, as I said, is 0779
0779
417
417
again 417
417. Let's read it again.
0779
0779
417
417
417 again
4171 again. That's quite a simple number, and I thank you so much for coming through, talk to the people, and make sure that they also really understand what exactly they are supposed to be doing on these roads. Because as a vehicle, maybe as a motorcycle rider, on this road, do not also think that you are the only road user. We have so many road users that are going to be using the same road, and that is why we are saying we must respect our guidelines. We must make sure we must also respect our rules, so that solely when we're on these roads, our lives are first of all safe, and then the other road users are also kept safe. And that is how, at the end of the day, we are going to be also reducing the number of accidents also in the country. And remember, recently we did see police releasing its crime report, where we did see an increase from last year compared to the other years, and that means also this year we are likely to also witness more increase on the number of accidents, because given the fact that also in the past weeks we have been also reporting stories of accidents happening. But now we want to make sure that also those who have gotten also the information do not keep it for themselves. You must disseminate the information. Tell the neighbor, tell that friend of yours who does not have a permit what exactly to do. And that rider who is also the border rider in there who is riding Raksa and does not know what exactly he or she is supposed to be doing, tell them what they're supposed to be doing, such that also when the year comes to an end, we have a reduction in the number of accidents. And that's where we come to the discussion's end, and we hope you had a wonderful time also as we come to the end of the discussion, and we shall be able to solely continue with that also later on. But one thing before I forget, Afande, is the issue of cameras. Just in 1 minute also should ARUA City also are the cameras working? Because we have seen them also being installed just along some of the streets within ARUA City, and how much have they done in terms of curbing crime on these roads?
Well, our cameras, I want to inform the general public that they are fully functioning.
Okay.
So whatever we do, if it requires to have that, they are functioning, and we have even the in-charges, the experts in that. So don't feel free to come and use them. Most of the times I get vehicles, most of the times we capture accidents, which normally happens when nobody's there.
Okay.
Yes, and I remember one time there is an accident happened around as we are going to visit Seford there, after Shell.
Yes.
Early morning there is yes. We were able to capture it very well. Yes, is it near Rema there?
Yes,
yes,
that
we were
was
able to capture.
Fortunately enough, it was the hospital's camera. I don't know what if it was for police.
We were able. In fact, I was not here, but I got the information.
Footage,
yes, and when we were in Kampala, in the center, also monitor the whole ARUA.
Okay.
So our cameras are working.
So I don't know what instance we use the cameras. Somebody may say we use them for specific crimes. What exactly do we use these cameras for? Because many people don't even understand why these cameras have been installed.
No, it depends, because not everywhere that cameras are there. But if we happen to discover that where the crime committed there was a camera, we use it.
Okay. Where
the accident happens, the few meters there was a camera, we use them. We cannot say that here we have a police camera. There we are not able to use the camera, but where the camera is and the accident or the offense, what we can be able to use, because we have the footage for after 3 months. It's also there.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Afande, for coming through, and I hope you, as the viewer, you had a wonderful time, and you already know what you are supposed to do, and that is where we are going to be also ending with the discussions with, and that brings us to the end of the discussion. Hope you had a wonderful time, and with that, we are going to be running for a short commercial break. Thank you so much, Afande.
You're welcome.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Mbappe, Cristiano Ronaldo, Harry Kane, Sané, Griezmann, Lewandowski, and many more. Who is your European star? We are very familiar with all German stadia. Trust us to give you the best Euro experience affordably. Catch the matches live on NBS Sport, channel 255 on antenna or channel 199 on Dish Decoder on Star Times. We got your stars. This message is brought to you by StarTimes Solar. StarTimes Solar, more than just solar.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Right, welcome back. Now looking at what is happening nationally. Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Anita Among, has condemned and criticized the forceful evictions carried out by state agencies that is against residents of the Lubiji wetlands in Wakiso district, and this issue has been there in the last weeks, where we did see some MPs also really being tear gassed when they had gone to visit the victims who were also evicted out of the wetlands in there by NEMA. And during the Wednesday plenary session, we did see that is Speaker of Parliament Miss Anita Among expressing disappointment and disapproval of the excessive force used by police and National Environment Management Authority officials during also the demolitions and the evictions of the people in there, because really we did see some people going through a lot, and now many are going through stress after they had been evicted, and many of them actually are saying that they do not have anywhere to go, and this is an area that they have lived on for quite a long period of time, and which is really something where we must say government of Uganda needed to also first of all come and engage the people before carrying out the evictions in there, because we have also been able to talk about the 3 E's, which also, if at all NEMA would have copied from URA, that would be able to solely work very, very well for them in there. But also to have people being evicted without giving them necessary support is solely going to be adding a lot of pain to them, and that's what we are solely complaining of. And leader of opposition parliament, Mr. Joel Singh, also recently also echoed similar concerns, pointing out the presence of police station and fuel station that has remained in existence up to date, and one of the petrol stations already is still existing in that area, also which people are saying is also already part of the wetland in there. And also we have the police station, which also really hasn't been, first of all, being destroyed up to now, but really we have seen the locals are being evicted, and something which also the locals said the operations are targeted, that is the poor. And this is also really where we are saying when we are doing out operations, we need not make the public feel we are siding or we are working with a particular group or a particular group of individuals, which at the end of the day makes them feel also disgruntled in there. And we are saying if at all NEMA, which is the body mandated to also make sure the environment is protected, and as efforts have been also in place to have the wetlands being first of all being protected and also being restored through also the forceful eviction of the people out of the wetlands. And then we need to also have these people be compensated and have them relocated to areas which are not on the wetlands, and that to me would also be able to also address the concern and the questions which have been raised by the members of the public, just like what we are discussing right now. And Ms. Among tasked the government to also make a formal government statement on the matter, but also the session was adjourned before no response provided also in there. NEMA officials have been forcefully evicting residents where they say these people illegally occupying the land, also really that is in Lubiji Swamp, that is in Wakiso district, and for the past 2 weeks, and the actions have been drawn, also have drawn criticism from a number of key players also really who have also criticized NEMA for what we call discriminative evictions in there, because they are saying if at all the petition, which name I need to withhold for now, and also the police station, we are evicted, members of the public, we are not also really going to be able to echo out their chances, their concerns, and they are going to believe in these operations, but now they are not believing because the petition has remained in existence. And who exactly is behind the issuance of the license to this petition, as NEMA claimed that these people actually got the right, also the license, as they are investigating the matter, and how they actually get the permission to establish this petition, because I believe the physical planning committee is first of all supposed to be responsible for looking out for what exactly is supposed to be put out in a place, and that is how, if at all, they not also really abide by the necessary plans, also really, the necessary requirements by the physical planning committee, and then how did they get into existence on that land? This is something also really we need to investigate and we need to find out, because at the end of the day, we are going to also really be seeing many people crying out, and the cry of the poor people is not really right, and that's why we are saying the matter also need to be addressed, and that is one thing at the end of the day that would also really make people now have no doubt in also in these issues, and that is one thing also really we are saying if at all government of Uganda through NEMA, which is also the body mandate to also really make sure that people who are settling on this land are also tasked to also really make sure they understand they are not doing the right thing, then definitely at the end of the day we will see people voluntarily moving out of the lands, wetlands, and then to areas which are not also really safe for them in there, for instance out of the wetlands, and that is one thing also we are talking about, because as the issues of climate change have also kept on hitting hard on the human beings, definitely we need to make sure that we restore the environment, and one of those strategies that we are looking forward to restoring the environment is actually wetlands. And recently, during the flagging off of the construction of the city roads, that's the resident city commissioner of ARUA, Charles Chogor, also really echoed out also the warning to those who are yet settling on the wetlands that government of Uganda through the city leadership is going to come out for them, and also really ask them to freely, also really voluntarily vacate the lands where they are now, and that is one thing also really we are going to be following up on. And leaving that aside, let's look at what's happening at Mulago, where the ex-boss of the hospital has been, and 9 others have been remanded over graft. Is also another story that we are seeing on the past this morning, where former executive director of Mulago National Referral Hospital, Dr. Byarugawa Baterena, has also been arraigned before anti-corruption court and remanded over corruption-related charges in regard to alleged irregular payment of billions of shillings, and he is accused in jointly with former hospital employees and directors of a private company, that is Setramaco International Limited and also the Convention World Limited. And those in court on June 19th were engineer Edward Kataha, a former senior hospital engineer and head of engineering department at Mulago National Referral Hospital. We also do have Kenneth Wafula, and who is also really one of the former senior hospital administrators, and we do have Christopher Kware, a former senior procurement officer, and who also headed, that is the head of, who also headed the unit, and also really one also identified as Ada Kachunguzi, who is a former procurement officer, who have also really been arrested together with Baterana in there, and these also face charges of corruption, and we are going to be following up on that matter until the matter is addressed. And the state attorney, Mr. Raymond Mugisha, tasked the court also really for an adjournment, saying that they are left with a few inquiries into the matter, and presiding magistrate Mr. Albert Asimwe remanded the suspect, citing that it was late for court to hear and determine their bail application, although the charges against them are bailable. And that's something also we need to understand, because many times people are saying these people were arrested for corruption but they were released, and we are saying you are proven guilty by courts of law, and if at all court is still in process, you can be given the bail as the matter is being investigated. And to have a bail is the constitutional mandate, where we are also really entitled to it, and that is one thing also. If at all you are arrested and you feel the matter is also being investigated, you have the mandate, you have the zeal to also ask for bail, and that is one thing also we are talking out. And one thing also many people don't understand when they see criminals, and this is one thing we did see in ARUA City recently with the operations against the criminal gangs, When these were released, many people were actually saying that police is working with also the criminals, but yet this is a court mandate, it's a constitutional mandate. Those who ask for bail, we actually released, and that is as the matter is being investigated, and that is why we are saying people need to understand issues related to bail. Crimes that are bailable, you can ask for them unless these are criminal activities also that are very much high. There may be court may also reject your bail applications in there, but we are saying to have bail is a constitutional mandate which is also must be respected. And for those who have been released on bail, we also expected to take a look at them just like that, because the matter is being investigated. And remember, the laws of Uganda are clear that you are only proven guilty by courts of law, and you are still innocent until proven guilty. And that's where we come to the end of today's discussions. I hope you had a wonderful time with the traffic officer when we started discussion, and I hope for those who watched us, and then definitely you have learned what exactly is happening in the world of traffic, and we now expect you to also really take up the lessons that you got and put them into practice. And that is where we are coming to the end of today's discussions, and I hope you had a wonderful time with me, Farish Majid, and we shall be bouncing back tomorrow where also we are going to be doing more in relation to that. And remember, tomorrow we are going to be joined by Job Richard Matua, and we are going to be talking about corruption and how he is ready to also make sure that the issues of corruption are addressed, and hope we shall be joined by him tomorrow. For now, I step out, leaving the newsroom for the next program that may follow, and we shall be able to catch up again tomorrow. My name remains Farish Majid. Have yourselves a goodbye and a good day as well.